Classroom students today are often asked to sit for hours in attention, with their only breaks coming at lunch or when they need to go to the restroom. And recess is beginning to dissolve in schools altogether. Everyone in this room has a loved one in school or knows someone that can make a difference in learning of today's youth. In order to prepare for today's speech, I used what I learned from my classes that I took at UNL and at Nebraska Wesleyan, and I combined that with some internet research that I did. Movement for students in classrooms is highly beneficial to their learning as well as their health. In my speech today, I will cover why incorporating movement is so important and how to actually incorporate it into the classroom. First, let's cover why movement in the classroom is so important. Movement in the classroom is highly beneficial to students' overall learning as well as health. While students are moving throughout the day, their learning improves greatly. They are having more fun in the classroom and are more focused and engaged in the content of the lessons that's being taught to them. Studies suggest that regular physical activity supports health and child development by improving memory, concentration, and having a positive outlook. In an article by Education Utopia written on March 12th of 2014, Dr. Donna Wilson said that research has found that children who have an opportunity to run 15 to 45 minutes before class were less distracted and more attentive to schoolwork. These positive effects lasted 2 to 4 hours after their workouts. Physical education programs and recess are great ways for students to get active during school and improve their attention and retention, thus improving their learning. But if schools' programs such as PE and recess are doing their jobs, why do we need movement in the classroom? To be honest, most PE programs are only in schools. You only go to PE 2 times a week for elementary students. Middle school students, probably the same, 2 to 3 times a week. And recess is beginning to be dissolved pretty much everywhere. In the Lincoln Public School system, I've done a couple practicums where we've had schools that don't have recess anymore just because they need their students to get more time studying math and science and reading, which is on the standards that they need to pass in order to go to the next grade. If they don't get good grades on the standardized tests, they will have to repeat the grade, which looks bad on the teacher. So most teachers keep their students in for recess, and they don't have recess anymore. So some students simply aren't getting enough movement throughout the day or week, and it's hurting their learning as well as their health. In an article by CreativePost.com on the benefits of movement in schools, written on August 8th of 2014, it states that most schools and teachers ignore the latest research that has come out about the benefits of movement for students. And these teachers are still using the sit still and listen approach. Some students as young as 1st or 2nd grade are asked to sit for hours at a time with no movement whatsoever and expected to stay on task and focused throughout the entire time. An article from the New Jersey Education Association from this last year lists important benefits of movement in the classroom as follows. The brain is attracted to novelty and is pre-programmed to notice differences. Therefore, using creative and innovative strategies that infuse movement and into instruction allows the brain to stay connected for longer periods of time. The brain wants the body to move. The brain is stimulated and naturally learns through the movement of its own body. Using movement to teach content creates a very natural and efficient way to learn. This proves the benefits of movement in the classroom. Now that we have covered the benefits and the need for movement in the classroom, let's move on to how we actually incorporate it. There's about 1 million different ways you can incorporate it in the classroom and into class time as a teacher or any school personnel. Based on the classes that I've taken in college and the research that I've done, these are a few ways that I believe are great for incorporating movement into the classroom. The first way is using brain breaks, and brain breaks are usually 1 to 3 minute breaks in learning where you don't do any, it's a stop from learning. So you are doing things like just standing up and stretching, or marching around the room, or something like that. There are thousands of different brain breaks you can find online and can be used, but the overall point is to give a break from learning and incorporate movement. My favorite brain break is this or that, and it's just a brain break where everyone stands, all the students stand in the middle of the room, and you say if you prefer football or basketball. Football people go to this side, basketball people go to that side. Then you say if you like peanut butter or jelly, and kids can walk from side to side. Another way to easily and effectively incorporate movement in the classroom is the use of energizers. Energizers are similar to brain breaks. They're only 2 to 5 minute focused lessons that have some tie back to the content that they either learned the previous day, or they're going to learn that day, or that they already learned that day. So this could be standing up if they're learning the ABC, standing up and doing the actual letters with their body, stuff like that. Or it could be giving students a number and having them line up in lines, or line up with partners and create math equations, and then they come up with the answer. So they're still up and around and moving throughout the room. My favorite energizer that I've used in my practicums was called Snowball Fight, and I wrote a bunch of different math equations on pieces of paper, crumbled them up, and then a bunch of answers to the equations, and crumbled those up. And then you give them to the students, and they literally stand on each side of the room and have a snowball fight. And then at the end of 2 minutes or whatever, they pick up the papers, unravel them, see either the answer to the equation or the equation, and then they go and find the partner. So if they have the equation, they find who their answer would be, and then stand next to it, and then you read off all the equations and the answers at the end. Some teachers have taken movement to a whole different level. One teacher in Nevada brought treadmills into his classroom and had students walk during class in lectures, during lectures, in order to have them move while learning. And many other teachers have replaced desk chairs with exercise balls and to incorporate movement in their classrooms. In an article by GAIAM, last updated this year, claimed that when a child sits on a ball chair, such as an exercise ball, they are able to direct their natural kinesthetic energy and need for movement in a positive way, because the child on the ball has to consistently move his or her body on the chair to maintain his or her balance. So rather than squash a child's innate need for movement, ball chairs channel their physical energy in a positive way, allowing for them to focus on their work more completely and reach their full potential as learners. Today I told you why we need more movement in school classrooms. Specifically, I told you the importance of movement in classrooms as well as how to incorporate it easily. Next time you speak to a teacher of your child or grandchild or a board member, you can relate to them the importance of movement in the classroom.
Very good.
Thanks.
Sit or step.
Do you sit on the ball chair?